So I don't know if you heard, but the aesthetic influencer era is over. So my mama's in transition, your time is now. Being loved by a divine woman feels like being chosen by God twice. Her love doesn't come from need, it comes from abundance. She doesn't need you to complete her, she simply wants you. And there's nothing purer than being wanted, not needed. Hello Elevate gang, welcome to another episode of Elevate with Mama Kesh, a space where style, story and soul come together to help you elevate into the woman you are becoming. I am Mama Kesh, your host, and in today's episode, we will be diving into 2026 Effortless Glow, the one that fits real life, real bodies, and real life seasons like motherhood. Stay tuned. We're beginning to see a shift on our social media feeds from content that has been highly curated for maybe brand deals in a very aesthetically pleasing manner towards content that is more in-depth in self-recognition, self-depth, self-trust, and which is great because now more than ever, what it really means is that your highly curated style feeds, which were being created by your favorite influencers for brand deals, are actually phasing away because they were not practical. They were not really fitting our real lives, our real bodies, our real minds. They were rather being curated for brands to sell and make us buy things that we really didn't need, right? So right now, content is shifting to prioritize women or people that are in depth or that are synchronizing with their own self frequencies. And that is really great. So more than ever is the time to lean into your personal styles. What you might start seeing on your feed more now might be women that are really going out there, embracing their personal styles, putting out content that really resonates with who they are, how they feel, and that is great. Especially with us women who are consuming this content, you want to ensure that your life is really mirroring, or your style also is mirroring who you are at every stage in life, right? Why the aesthetic influencer era was really magical because it gave us a lot of inspiration, but to be honest, it also brought a lot of pressure. Pressure to fit into looks that weren't necessarily built for our body types or the season we were in life. It pressured us to keep up with trends without necessarily listening to our own intuition and our own self-taste. It forced us to actually perform confidence rather than actually building true style confidence. And while it maybe gave us a lot of inspiration, however, it didn't really evolve to match all the various phases of our lives. And to be honest, it kind of felt restrictive at some point because if you were evolving personally, your favorite influencer wasn't really necessarily evolving at your pace. Not that they should, because of course they had brand deals to keep up with and everything else. But the mistake most of us made was we forgot to actually lean into our own selves. So right now is the time to return to self. More than ever, you should be listening to your own self-taste. So now I'm going to take it personal and talk about my own personal experience here. So over the years, I've struggled to find the perfect balance between creating aesthetically influencing content and actually creating authentic style content that's rooted in my own personal style. And to be honest, I have always been on the second part of things. I've always been one to actually believe that I don't need to go out of my way to create aesthetically pleasing content just because I want brands to see me. That's really never been my goal. But to be honest as well, when you know that you have a lot more to offer, but you're not finding your right your right lane just because everything out there has to be aesthetically curated for brands to be able to fish it out and for Instagram or for other platforms to push your content. It kind of became frustrating, to be honest. But right now, I got to a point where I felt confident with myself and just let myself know that my own way of doing things is really rooted in my own authentic self. Like I had mentioned, my own form of influencing for me is I feel my best when I help women gain confidence in their style. And that's really what I want to do. That's what I want to focus on. If I can help the lay woman understand how to build her style confidence, I have won. My goal is not to create an Instagram aesthetically pleasing feed that's going to attract all of these brands to then go back and force people to consume things that they don't even need. If I can convince you to build your style confidence only with pieces that you already have in your closet, I've already won my battle, really. Because at the end of the day, most of the brands are just out there to make more money for themselves, right? So it's really nice to see that social media is beginning to recognize authentic style or people that are rooted in their own truths. And right now, more than ever, is the best time to transition. In my own personal experience, to be honest, first of all, I am a mom. I have 2 boys. My day gets busy. So to find the time to plan out to create aesthetically pleasing content just because I want my Instagram feed to look a particular way is not realistic. Let's be honest. So of course, it's not to say if anyone has the time to do that, go ahead and do that. But it's really nice to see now that social media is beginning to push content or is beginning to encourage content that is actually rooted in authentic style and in authentic self. And that's really great. It really helps some of us small creators to know that the message we're trying to pass out to our audiences will be heard, and that's really lovely. So now I'm going to talk to you, my mamas, right? You might be transitioning now. Again, like I said, this is the best time to lean into your own self-confidence. Not to say you're not going to gain inspiration from your favorite influencers. You still are going to gain inspiration from them. However, think about it this way. Your life practicality is totally different from the curated feeds you're seeing. What you see, for example, is maybe influencers that have batch recorded their fits, right? They have a whole box, go out to locations, shoot from morning to night to get you aesthetically pleasing fits. That's not your reality. What happens now is you go out there, start shopping all of their feeds and end up with a closet that maybe has all of these red carpet looks or very edgy looks that do not necessarily match your day-to-day life. And that's really what we want to refrain from doing. We want to come back to self, again, gain inspiration, look at your lifestyle and understand what's really practical and what works for you. So again, here we're going to help you to build that style confidence without necessarily going out there to buy everything you see on your feed, but remembering that style really starts from inner confidence. If you start building that inner confidence, trust me, you would be able to rock any and everything. So now I'm going to give you 5 tips to help you start leaning into your style and leaning away from perfectly curated looks. Number 1, stop asking yourself what everyone else is wearing on the internet. Yes, we do have some of our girlies out there that want to have every single piece that is trending. Just stop. It doesn't really make sense. Again, remember, some of these pieces are being sold to your influencers by brands that want you to buy. If it's something that really fits your style, by all means, go ahead and buy. But if it's not something that fits your style and personality, there is no need buying anything just because all the fashion girlies are wearing it. When it gets into your closet, it's going to sit there. You just waste that money. You're not going to use it. It's not going to add anything to your fits. That's the first thing. Second thing, dress for the life you are actually living. Again, the looks you see online have been perfectly curated. They go out there with boxes, dress up, for the whole day into different types of dresses, trying to get the perfectly curated looks. That's not your life. On a daily basis, you're a mom that's busy, has to pick her kids from school, has to ensure that they go to after school activities and everything. Make sure you dress to actually fit the life that you're living. Ensure that the type of fits you are buying are actually mirroring your lifestyle. Yes, you have events. You might go for events here and there. You might actually go for date nights. You might hang out with your girls, but buy the fits that actually mirror your lifestyle, not your Instagram feed. That's the second thing. Number 2, please unfollow aesthetics and follow energy. And energy here is your energy, not your influencer's energy. So yes, what you want to do is not follow all the aesthetically pleasing curated boards, but rather how you feel, right? How do you want to feel? Are you in your powerful era? Are you in your soft era? Are you in your honest era? Are you in your evolving era? Dress for how you are feeling in that season. Don't go buying out someone else's energy, but rather yours. You might be buying something because someone else is in their soft girl era, but you are in your powerful era. It's not going to match. Dress for your own energy. So that's the third thing. The fourth thing is choose one word for how you want to feel. And that's really important. We've been saying this all through this season. How you feel really makes how you dress. It's very important. So do you want to feel grounded? Do you want to feel powerful, soft? Again, it goes back to your point about dressing for your energy. And you want to build from your anchors, not trends. Very, very important. Find your anchors, the things that already work for you, build on them. Do not go replacing your own anchors with someone else's anchors. Your favorite influencer's anchors might be statement jewelry, but yours might be a blazer. Stop buying things that do not reflect your fundamentals. Very important. And the last thing is trust your style confidence, and you would build it over time. It's not going to get built overnight. Trust me, you're going to build it with time. What you're seeing online again is a perfectly curated feed. So 2026 Glow Up is really going to be about you going back to self. We're moving back to depth, intentionality, and self-trust. That's what's really going to glow on our skin. So if today's episode rang a bell and you're really interested in understanding how to go back to self, drop in, leave a note in the comments, and we can talk through on a one-on-one basis on how to help you find the path back to self. Remember, your aesthetic pleasing boards are for your influencers to gain brand deals, but what you really need for your day-to-day life is to gain style confidence that helps you go through all your life seasons. If today's episode struck a nerve, go ahead and share it with friends and family. And remember, self-trust is what will carry your style to the next level. Until next time,